Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about how to market a product online, starting from basically at any point. You could go from 0 to millions in 3 to 24 months with this exact plan that I'm going to give you here today. This is the channel that I typically talk about online advertising on, which is what I know the most about, but I know everything there is to know, for the most part, about all the other ways to market a product online. Why? Because I actively own several e-commerce businesses that I'm involved in here or myself, I should say, or my company, in addition to also working with clients to help them with their ad campaigns on a guaranteed basis, where we don't charge for our services until you've gotten an increase in your sales. So with that, what I'm telling you here today is the plan that I used to take a company that I've bought into, that we're going to be able to use all the tools that are at our disposal to be able to raise that sales volume at that company and do it, you know, starting from, or I'm going to assume, in the times where I had to start from, very little money, and then build that up to where we're making millions and can spend a lot of money. The key secret to all this is that you are going to start with picking the low-hanging fruit in your market first. There's certain things that routinely get the highest return, and then there's certain things that routinely get the lower return. Even though it'll still be a return, you're still getting a profit margin on the sales you're making from those things. And even if you don't have any money starting out, there's certain things you can do that cost nothing. But your time costs your time. And anything obviously that takes your time is not scalable. So what you want to do is use your time to make sales starting out, then invest into things that take more money or more time in spending money in that more runway to get your thing that you're using your money for to work, to gradually build up more and more sales for your company, and which also, you know, will make things more and more scalable for your company. So there's long story short, I'll go over all of the things that you basically can do, and then more importantly, what order they should be done in, as well as the nuances as to what I would actually do with each one of these main things you can do, marketing a product online. But the order you should do them in that will get you that has the highest return first, and then you can start going into stuff that doesn't have quite as good a return, but it's so you can actually scale your company up quicker, because the quicker you can turn $1 into $2 or $1 into $10 more like, the faster you're going to scale your company. So why not start with all the stuff that's going to get you the quickest time from dollar in to dollar out first? Only makes logical sense to do that. So I'm going to go with this. Go ahead and share with you what this method is that I go through with the companies I own, e-commerce companies I own, and to market various products that we manage and run, and I'll give you some examples of that. And then with that, you should have everything you need to know where to start marketing your company, what works the best, and what to start with first. So that said, well, there's quite a few ways to sell a product online. There's one that really is the most scalable and that works all the time. So there's always two factors. Is it scalable? And how often does it work? If you want to add a third one in there, how much is the ROI? But assuming everything has an ROI, there's two factors you're always looking at. Is it scalable? Meaning, does it have legs? Can you do a lot of it, or only can you do a little of it? And how sure of it is it to work? Is it almost guaranteed to work? Does it work, half of the time if you do it right, but you don't know for sure if it's going to work, even if you do the things that you're supposed to do. And that thing though that works, that's very, very scalable and that works all the time is online advertising. For the most part, online, things have been going this general direction of having to use online ads, whether that's Facebook ads, Google ads, what have you, to sell a product online, because most places online that you could show up, require buying an ad. Simply put, sometimes you can get lucky and you can get somebody to do, if you were to do public relations, you could get somebody to write about your product, or you could get somebody on YouTube to do an unboxing and review your product. But for the most part, everybody wants money to do anything. You're not going to get published on that news site unless you grease somebody's wheels or grease somebody's palm, whatever. And you're also not going to get someone on YouTube to review your product unless you also grease their palm. So for all practical purposes, everything is going to cost money. So if you know that going in, which not all of it does, you can do some content marketing, which I'm going to get to in a second. But for the most part, everything costs money anymore. It's not like back 10 years, 15 years ago, where you could get things done in a fairly big way, but without having to spend money to get it necessarily, if you just knew how to move and shake. And since it costs money to do everything, you might as well just do online advertising, because for the amount of work that you're going to have to put in and money you're going to have to put in, when an online ad works, you could scale it much quicker, and you don't have to negotiate with anybody to run an ad. You can go in with a credit card. As long as you know what ad to run, you can go get that up in an afternoon, and when it works, you could go from where you're at to millions with that one ad in a lot of cases, if you will, which is an oversimplification. Generally, one ad won't make you millions, because you got to run different ads for different types of customers that would be interested in your product. But it can potentially, in some cases, one ad make you millions of dollars a year in sales on that product. So for the amount, having to spend money, you might as well just go with online ads, because it's the easiest thing to get to work for you, simply put. So anyway, with that said, online ads is basically what most of you guys should be focusing on. And I'm not just saying that because I run a PPC agency. Legitimately, this is the truth. There's the other main ways that you can market a product online: affiliate marketing, social media marketing, having distributors, using influencers, doing content marketing. They all have their own set of weaknesses, different weaknesses for different ones, which I'll go through here real briefly. Affiliate marketing. You think you're going to get affiliates? It sounds great on the surface. I don't pay unless somebody else sells something for you. But all you're doing is, if you can't sell your product or service, how is somebody else going to sell it? For the most part, that's kind of a question you should be asking yourself. But it's hard to find affiliates, first of all, way harder than you think it is. Even if you do find affiliates, the main drawback of using affiliates is they're going to market your product or service however they feel like, and they can actually say that your product has a 50-year warranty when it doesn't, to try to get the sale, or that you'll provide 7-day return policy, and you won't find this stuff out until potentially after a lot of damage has been done. And if you're thinking you could just go to that person's website to see how they're marketing it, these guys are sophisticated. They can actually have it so that if you go to their website, they see one thing, but really if the person who clicks on the ad goes to the website, they see another. Or they have a dedicated landing page that they're sending people to. And this is just how the affiliate marketing world works a lot of times. In other words, they'll lie and say and do whatever they have to do to get the sale, which is not advantageous to having a good customer base that leaves you good reviews. So you want to, if you can, which you should be able to do, market your own stuff so you can have control over what's said to sell that product. Social media marketing. Back in the day, you could get a lot of Facebook organic traffic. Everybody's on Facebook, but Facebook cut that down to the point where you're not going to get anybody to see shit if you're marketing on Facebook. And then Twitter, LinkedIn, these other places, it's basically the same thing. Nobody's going to see your stuff organically. It's way too competitive anymore. And respectively, social media, where it can work, is you have to literally spend years building up a following on these platforms, if it is going to work at all. On YouTube, which I would go YouTube nowadays to do that. You could technically do it on LinkedIn if it wouldn't work for you on YouTube, but for the most part, YouTube is where to go. You have to spend years building up a following. Then you're going to be able to make sales off your following. You're not just going to get on social media, make a few posts, and make sales. You're not going to get seen in that case. It takes years of building it up. So starting out, it's really dumb to do that because, well, should I say not dumb, but who could survive a few years without any sales while they build up their following? Maybe if you've got money from a previous venture, you can do that, but most people can't do that. You got to start with something to get you going. Then you can do your social media marketing on the side, build up your following on the side, i.e. build up your brand or branding on the side while you got other things bringing in today money. Distributors / retailers that can sell your product for you if you're a manufacturer of that product. They'll usually want 40% off the sales price of the item what you're trying to sell right now. Why give somebody 40% of the cut of the item that you're selling when you could easily take that 40% cut down to 20% by marketing your own stuff? Of course, there's the additional cost of having to service that client, but most of the time these retailers, they want to sell your product without being a product expert, which makes it where they're not even adding any value. Legitimately, if they were an expert and they could sell to people at a high level and consultatively sell them, maybe it's worth it, but for the most part, in today's environment, the money is going direct to consumer. You market your website, you don't need retailers anymore. The only time a retailer would make sense is if you could get into a brick and mortar shop to get some extra sales. But for the most part, I ain't giving nobody 40% of the cut of all the sales of our product when I could sell it online and probably get the cut down, where we're paying 15% of the cost of the product in terms of advertising spend and getting much higher product margins. Also, we're building up a long-term asset, i.e. our website, that brings in sales. Whereas if we rely on retailers or distributors, if all our sales are coming from there, they make the rules, not us. There's also influencers. Influencers, you're not going to find anybody to mention your product on social media that's an influencer that has a following big enough where it matters for free. And good luck trying to get them to take a percentage of sales, and that's it. They're going to want money up front, and then they're going to want a percentage of sales. And you got to have somebody with like 10,000 subscribers or more to have that amount to any sales. By the time you have to spend time negotiating with the influencer, if they don't have 10,000 subs or more, you're basically wasting your time in most cases. And they're going to want a couple $1,000 just to mention your company because they're smart. They know just by mentioning you, that brings value, even if you brought no direct sales from it. So if you're starting out, that's not the best way to go because chances are the first influencer ain't going to make you money. You're going to have to test 20 of them out to find 2 that work because that's kind of how it works. But it can certainly be successful. It wouldn't be the first thing I'm doing. I'm doing that later on. I'm going to have the influencer mention my product, and then I'm going to take their testimony, and then I'm going to use that to show to people that have been to my site already to get them the rest of the way up in building their confidence up to make an actual sale, to increase this productivity of other things we're doing to get them interested in our product. And then finally, content marketing, where you write, like you get a blog, you write blog articles, that kind of thing. That in itself is no cost other than your time. Problem is, it doesn't scale. Good luck finding anybody who can write articles about your product that are worth a damn or worth anything, that are going to get customers or clients in the door, ranking organically from it or what have you. Because they're not product experts. They don't want to become product experts. They're not smart enough to become product experts in a quick amount of time. And if they were that industrious, they'd probably be running their own product company, to be honest about it. Or they're just so expensive you can't afford them. It's not profitable. So content marketing, yes, if you can do the content marketing yourself, or what you're selling is so damn profitable, like you're selling a $20,000 item, and 3/4 of that is profit, you might be able to get by hiring somebody to write articles, but there's still going to be shitty articles for the most part, because they're not going to understand the product like you are. And because content marketing is competitive nowadays, it's not like 10, 20 years ago, you got to have a useful article for Google to want to rank it, because if the article ranks and people get to the article and they don't like what they see, they're going to bounce, and then Google's going to de-rank your page. Content marketing, you can also do guest posting, by the way. You can get your article posted on other sites. A lot of other sites will just let you post on their popular site for free, like I post on entrepreneur.com, and they're happy to take it, if you will. But again, finding somebody else to ghostwrite for you to do that and have the article be good enough to pull a customer after they read it, good luck finding that, unless you're paying an astronomical amount of money, and then it just doesn't become profitable. So with that said, if you're really starting out with $0, out of all the stuff that I gave you here, content marketing is the way to go. You can write articles, and you could reach out to your all the niche related publications in your space. In our space, like I said, my audience is business owners that are affluent business owners. I want them to hire my firm for PPC services, or partner with us long term in terms of doing a revenue sharing agreement, what we do with clients as well. So with that said, I write articles because I'm an expert, and I can't hire anybody else to write an article that would be worth a damn that anybody would care to read. And then I get them published on entrepreneur.com. Entrepreneur.com gets millions of visits to their website every month. It's significant enough that a certain percentage read my article, they'll go to the bio section, they'll click the link, go to my website, and turn into a lead. This can actually work to sell a product as well. It doesn't have to just be a service. So you could spend time writing articles about, and it wouldn't just be about selling the product, because they're not going to take that. It would, if you're selling a lawn, if you're selling lawnmowers, just to give you a basic example, then you write an article about 5 common mistakes people that buy a lawnmower make, and then in that case you could go and get that article once it's written, of course, and publish it on a Home and Gardens online, something like that. So everybody needs to buy a lawnmower, and they're there for home improvement tips, and that kind of fits in. So you get my general idea. You're not going to get a ton of customers that way, but just to give you an idea, when I write articles for entrepreneur.com, I get about a client every single article that I post. And our clients end up spending an average of $50,000 with us over the, their general average lifetime. So there's a lot of money to be made there, but I can't scale that. It takes me 10 hours to write an article, roughly 10, 15 hours to write one article for entrepreneur.com. So I can only write 2-3 articles a month and I couldn't write more if I wanted to, because I still got other shit to do at my firm. So anyway, it's a way to get you going. It's a great way to get you going, but it's not going to get you to the next level. Eventually, you're going to have to do something else. So if you're literally starting with $0, write some articles for the top visited sites in your space. And then use the traffic from there to get sales, to then invest in online ads, okay? All of the online ads, like I said, there's good places to start, bad places to start. For nearly all of you, you're going to want to start with running ads on Google search or Bing, depending on where you're at. I'll explain why. But when you are doing the content marketing, once you are able to get a consistent amount of at least $300 a month coming in terms of profit from what you're making through the content marketing with your own time, you can take that $300 a month and already start running an ad on Google Ads. And you're going to target most people when they do Google Ads starting out, when they have almost no money, they're being stupid and they try to target, roughly everybody. When we sold drones here, if I were being idiotic starting out and I had very little money, and that little bit of money has to make money or otherwise I'm broke, what I would not want to do is target people that are typing in drones or even drones for sale, because the type of person typing that in, we don't know exactly what they want. A much better option would be to target a keyword like buy drones for farming, because at that point, there's first of all, no competition. There's nobody else running an ad just for that. And therefore, the cost per click on the keyword per click is going to be much cheaper. But it's more importantly going to convert at 3 to 10 times the rate as buy drones will. Because that person who types that specific of a thing in is way more serious statistically as a whole than somebody typing in buy drones. But there's two key things here. I would find keywords in your space. I'd find the most long tail keywords, meaning the keywords that are the most descriptive, that still apply to your product that you can, and also have the word buy or for sale in it. Because at that point, they're ready to buy and it's of no question. They're not looking for information, in other words. And you know exactly what they're looking for and you provide it, so therefore, you're in the right place, the right time. And I would do that at $300 a month. And it isn't going to be profitable right away. You got to get your tracking set up, your sales tracking. If you sell an expensive product that's normally sold over the phone, then you got to be able to do something called offline conversion tracking and get your offline sales to flow into your ad account to match the sales that occurred through your cart into your ad account. Because every dollar of that $300 a month you spend is when you get a sale, the sale tells Google how to get you another sale. And then when you get a second sale, it tells you better how to get a third sale. Each sale you get progressively, the amount of money you're going to make on that $300 a month is going to keep producing more and more profit for you. Because it's a machine learning driven algorithm that decides if somebody who types in buy drones for farming sees your ad or doesn't. Because it'll start segmenting the people who search for that. Male, female, high income, low income, Texas, California. And it'll find out that, Texas people that search for this, they're not profitable, stop showing it for them. And so that $300 a month might take 6 months before it even produces a profit for you in terms of get you enough sales to cover the cost of that $300 a month, and the cost of the product that you have to cover and still make money at the end of the day. But it'll eventually happen. So you keep doing your content marketing until your $300 a month ad budget on Google pays for itself, and then you can start ratcheting that ad spend up a little bit further at that point. And then, basically at some point shortly after, you stop doing your content marketing because you don't have to anymore, or what have you. Or you keep doing it if you want, but that's the basic idea. Now, Bing ads or Microsoft ads, so ads running on Bing, will actually usually get an ROI that's almost double what you'll get on Google. So that's a little secret. Instead of you could use the same keyword strategy I gave you, but run it on Bing, at least starting out. You'll get twice as much sales, the same $300 a month starting ad budget than you would on Google. If you can, I would recommend starting out on Bing. Sometimes your niche is so small, starting out on Bing, it's not going to get you enough clicks. But if you're in a bigger enough market where that $300 a month on Google could be spent in 2 seconds, then I would start out in Bing instead, because you'll get twice the return. There's less volume there, but the return is greater. So with that said, once you've done that, take the keywords that you've figured out work on Google. Because if you have your tracking set up, like I said, where you're tracking your sales, if you go into your search trends report on your Google Ads account, it tells you the exact things people typed in that led to a sale. All of those keywords, or all of those terms, those search terms. You're going to set up an account on Bing if you haven't done it already. Target the same terms there. You're going to set up a pay-per-click account on Amazon. You're going to target the same terms there, because whatever terms work on one of those platforms, they work on the other ones. So then you're just going to leverage these other platforms to your advantage. Once you've done that, once you can't get any more returns from what I told you already, you're going to start going after your competitor terms. So for a product, this is an amazing strategy. If you sell a power drill, your power drill has direct competitors in your market that are about the same price range, and pretty much that. Products that are about the same price range as yours. So what I do is I go and find it. In the drill example, I find all the drills that are priced at the same price point as my drill, and then I start writing down what my drill does that's better than the drill that I'm competing against. Then once I've done that, I start making ads that will show up for somebody when they're looking at one of those direct competitors' drills, specifically in 2 places, Google Search and Google Display. So there's a way, of course, on Google Search and on Bing Search, if you want to add to that, when they type in the exact product name of the competitor, so it'll be like, Roscoe's 4 horsepower drill, that'll be the name of the product exactly. I will target that exact term in Google and Bing, and my ad will say, before buying Roscoe's 4 horsepower drill, the James's 4 horsepower drill has 3 times the reliability of that drill, and it's at half the price. So you say why it's better, so that when they Google that for that particular product, which if they're making a specific product search like that, they're either getting ready to buy it right then or very shortly. So that's very profitable traffic to tap into. But it only works if you say why you're better than that product. Otherwise, why the hell are they going to click on your ad? You can't just come there and say, I have a great drill. They're going to give a shit. But when you specifically say why you're better, and then you can follow that up by taking them to a page that compares your drill versus that competitor's drill on your site. Sometimes you can get by just sending them right to your drill product page and say nothing about that competitor's drill. But the return's 3 times as good sending them to a dedicated page that compares your drill versus that competitor drill that they were just about ready to buy from that competitor. And that tells them all the reason why they should be buying yours instead, right? And you do that for every directly competing product that competes against your products. So if you sell multiple products, of course, you're going to have to do this for each of your products individually. Find all the competitors that are directly competing with each one of your products. Find out what you're better about each one, and then putting that into your search ads and then targeting people looking for those exact products. That's on Google Search. There's even bigger demand, or more potential, I should say, using something called custom intent audiences. You could have it so when anybody goes to your competitor's sites itself, or in general have searched for your competitor product in the past, you can have a banner ad that shows up for that person as they browse the general web. Any place you normally see banner ads online running, you'll be able to have your ad there in front of those people that have searched for in the recent past that competitor's exact item. So you literally, with custom intent audiences, can tell Google, hey, if they've searched for this competitor's product in the last 30 days, I want my banner ad that says why I'm better than that product to show up for them there. And then that ad has the same message. It says, before you buy XYZ, consider this product. It's better and faster and cheaper. You send them to the same page on your site that says why you're better and faster and cheaper than that product that they were considering, and then you start getting a ton of sales. So you can do that on the general web as well. You can, of course, do that using banner ads on the web. You can also do that while they're on YouTube. If they've searched for that competitor in the recent past, the competitor's item, you can have a video ad that shows up for them on YouTube that says why you're better, faster, and cheaper than that item as well. So that's something that will generally work, because you're tapping into people that are already ready to buy. You already know they have money, and you just got to make a slightly better case than them of why they should buy yours, and they'll buy yours at a very high rate of time. So I recommend doing that next. Then you could go into lookalikes targeting on Facebook. So Facebook ads are great. The only thing is it takes some time to get them working right away. And they also work much better if you have some customers already coming in from Google, because they have their lookalikes targeting, which try to find people that are like people that come to your site already. So if you built up a good foundation from Google, Bing, Amazon, and all the traffic that's going to your site and converting and everything, and then you go to Facebook and you say, hey, Facebook, find me customers or like the ones that are already coming into my site right now, or people that are coming to my site right now in general, not customers, but people just coming to my site. And once you've already got a few hundred people coming to your site a day, then Facebook does a really good job of finding you other people that look like those few other people that come to your site every day. If you start out in the beginning without any people coming to your site, and it would be all people that are converting, so they just got to look at the 300 people a day that come to your site that convert at a decent rate, find out what the commonalities between all of them are, like what do they click on, prior to seeing your ad, and are they male, are they female, what time of the day do they like to click, what's their interest. But the main thing that they do is they're able to kind of monitor, well, I'll just basically keep it simple here, but anyway, you start out with a $10 a day budget on Facebook with the lookalikes targeting, and it won't work for a long time, but 6 months later, it should be profitable, or maybe 9 or 12 months. But the idea here is you don't invest what you can't afford to lose. If you've done all this other stuff, you're making a good amount of, you're already making a good amount of money already from the rest of what you did. You could easily throw that $10 a day into the Facebook ads to eventually get it working. If it takes a year, it takes a year. The algorithm is going to slowly figure out, even though you gave it all the data from all the customers you have coming in yet, it still needs to do a little bit of trial and error, and it'll eventually work for you too. And then you can start scaling the ad spend up a little at a time. Usually, by the way, when I'm running a campaign like that on Facebook, I'll raise the ad spend an additional 15% at a time. So if you're spending $10 a day, I'll raise it to like $12 a day. And if that gets me the sales I'm looking for, because you can do the sales tracking again through Facebook, then I'll go to $15 a day. And the reason why you only do a little at a time is because the algorithm knows how to get you sales at whatever level of budget you have. When you try to say, Facebook, give me 5 times as many sales on 5 times as much ad spend, it doesn't know how to do that yet. So this is a game of inches. You slowly raise the ad spend, and you keep raising it as fast as the return equals the amount of return or ROI or ROAS that you need from your campaign. Same thing goes with the Google and Bing and Amazon. But so I would do that next in the general order of things. Then I would start marketing to in-market prospects. So all of the keywords that worked before that you found or are using on Google, buy drones for farming, buy drones for mining applications, whatever your keywords are that you know that are working, those same keywords, you can create a custom intent audience and tell Google, if they search for any of those terms that I know are already working, if they didn't click on my ad on Google, my search ad, I want the opportunity that my banner ad should show up for them as they browse the web, or if they go on YouTube, my video ad could show up for them there. So they're in market for what you have to sell, and you get another crack at them that way. And in that case, you just send them to the same page that you sent to them before. You send them to the same page on your site that your search ads send them to. It's really simple like that. You just have to run a banner ad with the same message that the search ad had on it, and you'll get more action from those same keywords, if you will. Then, furthermore, you could target people searching how to buy. Using the drone example, how to buy a drone, what's the best drones to buy, how to get a good deal on a drone. All those so-called buying terms where they're not looking to buy, but they're looking for info how to buy, that would generally be just as good as people that have searched for a target keyword that you know works in the past, but hasn't clicked through your ad originally for whatever reason. And in terms of profitability and how quickly you can get it working and so forth. Respectively, this is actually, this whole section here that I just talked about, this is actually better and easier to get to working than Facebook. But I mentioned Facebook because it's going to take you a while to get that to work. When it works, it'll be very scalable. So usually at this stage, I'll just set Facebook up to start getting some data so that I have something ready to go, let's say 6 to 12 months down the road, that'll help me scale more, when these other last two things I'm talking about here have already been tapped into. So anyway, that's also what I would do. And then the last thing to mention here that you can always do, that's going to be kind of the most tricky to work, but will generally always work if you give it enough time to work, would be to market to people looking for advice. So how to use drones for farming applications. They're not looking to buy a drone for farming applications. They're not there yet. But if they're looking for how to buy or how to use drones for farming applications, and you target that person that makes that search on YouTube or on Google search, you can have an ad that says, buy drone for farming applications. And then you could send them to your dedicated page on your site that just talks about drone for farming applications. Which, by the way, all the rest of your campaigns, your search campaigns and everything, if they use the word farming, you're going to do 3 to 5 times better sending them to a dedicated page that talks about that application than trying to send them to a page that talks about all the applications that your product does. So the more work you put in speaking to your user directly, the more you're going to make, quicker you're going to make it. But for the most part, YouTube ads is really the thing that's doing great nowadays. Even though if somebody searches for how to use a drone for farming applications, you can have a search ad on Google that picks people up and do okay there. You can have a banner ad show up for somebody if they've searched for that in the past. And you also could show up on YouTube, have a YouTube ad, video ad show up for that person if they've searched for that in the past or they're actively searching for it. For the most part, the real meat, the real return actually comes from the person that's searching for how to use a drone for farming applications at the exact time of searching for it. If they've searched for it recently and then you have an ad shows up, it's not that profitable, really. What I'm really talking about here is people that are searching for it actively. You have an ad that shows up right away that says, how to use a drone for farming applications, and goes through that for the user, featuring your product in that video or in that landing page you're sending them to. But the key thing is here, people that would try to make this work would just say, farming drones for sale, and then that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for how to use a drone for farming applications. So you frame your ad, whether that's a Google search ad or a YouTube ad, on being helpful and to help that answer's question, and then you work in your sales pitch within the content itself. So if they're watching a video about drones and farming, then your video ad shows up there saying, are you trying to get a drone to work for your farming application? This is the key things you need to know. And the things that you need to know apply to your product. And of course, by the end of the video, they know, like, and respect you. And now they're interested in buying your product. If you're going to do targeting on Google search so that they find your ad there, it's the same thing. You don't just say farming drones for sale. Learn how to use a drone for farming should be on your ad if they're searching for how to use drones for farming. And then you do the same thing on your landing page you take them to, which, by the way, if you wanted to save time, a lot of times what we do is, in that case on the search ad, where we're targeting how to use drones for farming, we'll say learn how to use drones for farming. And then when they click on that search ad, we send them to a YouTube video, because a YouTube video, it's easier to keep someone's attention with the video anymore nowadays. So even though it's coming from Google search, we're sending them to a YouTube video. And if it's done right, you can make sales from that. You'll get 2-3% of the people that click through that video to come to your site, and you'll make sales that way. And even if they aren't ready to buy right then because they were looking for information at that point in time, which a lot of people will, if you remarket to them, in other words, have ads show up for them after they've seen your content about drones and farming and how to use a drone for farming to make money, then you have like unlimited retries with that person to get them to buy the drone. They know of you, they like you. It wasn't right for them to buy at the moment when you initially was speaking to them, but maybe 3 months from now it is. Using Google remarketing, you can have your ad show up for them as they browse the web, as they're on YouTube, hundreds of times if you want to. And it costs literally a penny to have an ad, a banner ad show up for somebody, or a YouTube ad show up for somebody after they've already read your initial content about how to use drones for farming. And you could say, and then in the follow-up video say, buy our drone for farming, and then you could have other content that follows up them as well, saying, here's the reason why you should buy our drone for farming. This is why you should buy a drone for farming, our drone. And then have another ad that says, this is why our drone is the best for farming compared to our competition. Here's some another ad says, here's some testimonials as to why customers love using our drone for farming. And you build a sequence to follow them up so that, if they're not quite ready to buy, you got more information for them. If they are ready to buy, of course, the ad that asks them to buy will get them. You work in their ad saying, we got 10% off this weekend only if you buy our farming drone, but after this weekend you can't buy, to build urgency, and then maybe that ad gets them. So you go with that at them with 5-10 different approaches. Different approaches are going to work on different people, and you do all of them. Some people aren't going to buy because they want a warranty. Well, one ad, you just talk about your warranty. And then you make sure that you got all your bases covered, and when it literally costs a penny to have an ad show up for somebody after you know they're in market for what you sell and they've checked out your initial content, so they know and like and trust you now, that you're not getting your full money's worth out of what you did to get that person to know, like, and trust you if you don't follow up in the way that you can, and as I'm mentioning here. So anyway, that's the basic system that I have to take a company from little to nothing, sometimes zero, to millions and millions of sales revenue per year. I go through this exact method. Sometimes we'll tweak it, a couple things here and there, but for the most part, this is it. Every place you run ads, you get your tracking set up, you invest what you could afford to lose until it works, and then you scale it up. So that is, and then starting with the easy to get the returns where they're the easy to get and the quickest to get, and then going after the stuff that returns are easy, they just take longer to initially get than others. And using the money for the easy to get return stuff to reinvest into stuff that will get you more sales but take longer to get you a return, so to say, so that you don't ever have to come with too much money out of your pocket, because you're financing all the other stuff you're going to do in the future with the stuff that got you a return quickly. And then of course, even that you got financed with stuff that cost you no money, because you were able to take your time, invest it to write content that would be published on mainstream websites that people were helped by and then were willing to buy from you because you demonstrated your expertise in your field that way. So with all that said, this is the method that I use myself personally, where companies that will partner with us and they'll say, hey Corey, we'll give you 2% of all of our sales growth at our company if you partner with us and help market our company, help us grow our company. And then I'll go through this exact model. We've done this several times with companies. I also offer just regular PPC services, but more and more and more, we're just trying to do partnerships where we're taking a percentage of the sales, because we got this formula down pat. We know this is the formula that works. If you use this formula, you will get results. So, and by the way, if you want to partner with us, reach out to us. But don't work with everybody. But if you got a great product or service, I'd love to work with you in that kind of regard. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, I have a ton of other content about making money, specifically using ads online, Facebook ads, Google ads, so on and so forth. So, and it's coming from somebody online for clients. This is all that I do all day long. So the information I'm sharing with you works because I'm in the trenches out there doing it, and we actually have to guarantee results for our clients in order to get paid at our agency normally for the people that we just do regular PPC services for. So you're not going to get better information on YouTube in terms of actually making money and stuff that will practical advice on actually making money with ads, as well as the stuff to stay away from that loses money. So with that said, if you have any questions about anything I shared here today, want a little bit of extra information about your unique situation, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you have any questions at all about online advertising, I'd be also happy to try to get some help for you as well, if I can. So as a last note, like I said, I offer contingency services here. If you've got a PPC campaign, Facebook campaign, whatever you're running online advertising wise, if you need more sales out of it, I'd be happy to try to get you more sales on your campaigns totally for free up front to get you as a client. If you reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com, I'll evaluate what you have and we'll try to see if we could get you more results and tell you how much results we can get for you up front without taking a fee. And then of course, when we do get you those results, what we would need to charge once we get you a certain amount of minimum results up front. This is what we do for our clients and specialize in. We don't work with all clients that approach us, but I'd be happy to try to see if I can work with you and get you those same kind of results. And if you have something really good, I'm willing to work. We'll take a percentage of your increase in sales and we charge nothing at all. So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you there. See you later.